Okay, Arun, after listening to your fascinating story from Lahore to Delhi to Mumbai and then Pune, it'd be interesting to know when you, such a young age, you got an opportunity to set up a new organization from scratch. What was your dream? What was your vision for this organization like Tata Motors, let's say 15, 30 years down the road? Where would it be? And how did you go about creating it?
To begin with, Janak, I just had a dream that I wanted to be one of the soldiers, if you will, building the new India. And I got my vision from Sumant Moolgaokar, much older man who already had proven success in building industry in India, like factory in Jamshedpur, which was built to build trucks and buses in collaboration with Mercedes-Benz. Those were the days of license Raj, as we said. And by good economic logic, it was felt that there's some industries India needs, like steel we mentioned already, and maybe trucks and buses because people move. काम आम आदमी को तो buses चाहिए and we need trucks to move goods around. So for industrialization and progress of the country, these are fundamental capital goods required. So who was going to produce these? We wanted them to be produced in India. Why? Because then more jobs would be created in India. We wouldn't be importing trucks and buses from countries who produce them very well and creating jobs for them. But of course, we didn't know how to produce a truck and a bus. We'd never done it before. So the policy was that the government would never have only one person, no monopolies. They would say, if this is a segment like trucks and buses, there will be 4 people, 5 people, depending on that. There'll be sufficient internal competition. And considering how large we imagine the market might be in 10 years, each of you will give 1/4, in this case, the commercial vehicles, 4 companies, 1/4 of the capacity is allowed to you. To build that 1/4 capacity, the amount of equipment required, which you make a plan, and it should be a sensible plan, not buying gold-plated things. That's why they had a good DGTD, very good technical people, Indians, educated abroad, employed here, MIT Vagara say, and who would check to say that you were buying sensible things. And if that turned out that you needed, say, $100 million of foreign exchange, having checked, that is granted to you. So along with the license, you got an import license, industrial license, you got an import license. And the import license mentioned the categories of things which you should import, not, get it for one thing and start importing some personal things and sell them in the country. It's sensible. It's what planning is. So we were given one of the licenses for commercial vehicles with Daimler-Benz. And foreign companies were told that you can participate in the growth of India's industry if you help to build something, teach our people to build something. So Daimler-Benz is after the war. It was a very shattered economy, Germany. The British and Americans didn't want them to go too far. But now they had to help build them also. So they did allow Germany to participate in bidding for projects in India. And so Daimler-Benz bid to be the partner of Tata's in the commercial vehicle venture. By the way, Hindujas got Leyland, British Leyland. We had the Premier Automobiles, which got Ford, Chrysler, and we had Hindustan Motors, which got General Motors. So there were 4 industrial licenses to 4 eminent Indian industrialists with some record that they knew their country and they could build things. But the technology was coming from, again, world-class organizations. The requirement was that we had to progressively learn. Now, what is the proof of learning? That to begin with, you can import all the complicated parts of the truck. The simplest thing, which is put the nuts and bolts together and put it together and test it, assemble, CKD pack assemble, even SKD, semi knocked on pack assemble. So all of us in the first year was SKD. The next year became CKD. Then the CKDs became deeper and deeper. And within 15 years, you were required to have more than 90% of the content of your truck produced by suppliers in India. Meaning you also had to induce your suppliers that I can't keep buying from you because otherwise I won't have the foreign exchange to buy from you. You better learn. You find a partner, and maybe Daimler-Benz can help. Whoever is their supplier for wheels can, and so on. So that was the process of industrialization. Now, here was the result that we learned very well in Jamshedpur. Daimler-Benz is a very good teacher, and they had at that time an incentive. They wanted to rebuild Daimler-Benz to establish it as a global company, which it wasn't actually before the war. So here was that if they could be helping build things in India and have a base in India with big markets around, they would get ahead of the rest. And it did become. I mean, while we were building with them in the 1950s and early 60s, Daimler-Benz started to grow up to be the world's largest commercial vehicle manufacturer, exceeded General Motors on commercial vehicles. So the story of mutual benefit. We were being taught very well by these Germans, and we learned very well. So in about 10 years' time, short of 15 years, we got the license in 54, by 64, 65, our vehicles were already more than 90% built in India. In India, they were sold as TMB, it had that TMB star. Abroad, Daimler-Benz was taking our same trucks straight from the factory in Jamshedpur, putting them onto the ports in Calcutta, shipping them to Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, Colombo, putting a Daimler-Benz star in the front and selling them there, beating the heck out of the Americans and the British Leyland trucks and Ford trucks and General Motors trucks there. But they were better trucks, right? Then Sumant Moolgaokar said this, that if this is an Indian truck actually, why can't we export it under our name? Two benefits. One is then, we are paying them needlessly, sort of a fee, and they're also controlling where to export because they had certain markets they already dominated. We don't want to use another Indian one in there. And so India's ambitions to get onto the world stage as an exporter of complex manufactured goods as trucks and buses is being curbed by this arrangement with them. So we said to Daimler-Benz that though there are another 4 years left to our technical collaboration agreement, we wish to terminate it now. We've learned enough. They said there's still a few remaining things for you to learn regarding synchronous gearboxes and another type of engine. We said, we'll learn that. And Sumant Moolgaokar had already started to put in Pune, the new factory, which is where I was posted, built an engineering research center before everything. The factory to which I went in Pune, Janak, it had a training school at one end. It had an engineering research center at the other. Just land in between on which trees were being planted. No factory building yet. But as he said, building the skills and knowledge of people is what takes much longer than building a factory. So the workers also take a time to learn, 4 years professionally to get to highly skilled people. Take people from schools. There was a training school and a training hostel. Plus, I've created this research center, which was what? People, young Indians who had got their PhDs and stuff, to experiment designing in something themselves. It weren't trucks and buses. They were making forklift trucks. They were making whatever they like, just to learn how to do it and do. So these two things. So this was the backdrop, and Sumant Moolgaokar therefore said that, and Daimler-Benz had been concerned about this, that you're not supposed to do your own R&D because, we are supposed to keep giving you new designs. But so there was a conflict of ambitions, and it was agreed that we would terminate the technical collaboration agreement. They were the larger shareholders, by the way. Daimler-Benz then, I don't know the situation today, owned more shares in Tata Motors than Tata's did.
Okay.
Yeah. They were the larger shareholder. There were many public Indian shareholders, but we were not larger than them. So they had a choice also. I mean, they could buy, say, but since we are not gaining anything, we want to sell our shares. They didn't. And when rights issues came, they kept increasing their shares in the company because they were benefiting from the profits and the dividends of the company. It was a very well run, profitable company expanding. But they were not giving any technology. We were competing with them. We sent then Tata made, Tata badged vehicles to the same markets, Kuala Lumpur, Middle East, Africa, Sri Lanka. And so into that story, I also got involved. That well, we put up then because Malaysia said they want an industrial policy and they want to themselves assemble and build trucks, smaller country though. And so they, following India, said, look, we'll allow 3 or 4 people to do, others can't import and sell. So we put up something with the Bhumiputra there. Bhumiputra was the people who were the Chinese along with Daimler-Benz. They had a big operation importing and so, and they had some assembly operation. There was a company with General Motors, very large, big one, and so, and there was some Swedish Volvo or something. So they said, enough, it's a small country, thi hai. The Bhumiputra, meaning the local Bhumiputra, you know Malaysia's history, it's of course Malays, and so they said, look, what is this? The foreigners are going to keep running, and the Chinese particularly, running this place. We want a Bhumiputra company, owned by Bhumiputras, managed by Bhumiputras, but they need technology. So they approached Tatas. Okay, you seem to know how, when you're the underdog, to build something, will you be our partners? So Malaysia relaxed its licensing rule to allow a fourth company, provided it was a Bhumiputra company.
Okay.
Now, they were running the company, the Bhumiputras there, without any experience of running an industry. Unlike Tatas. I mean, Tatas had been running industry since the 1890s, and with Daimler-Benz joint venture came 78 years later. Tatas knew how to build things, how to commercially sell things, how to manage finance. Those guys were like, brothers of kings. They had no idea. So that venture within 2 years went fut.
Okay.
And then the bankers, the international bankers, came to Tata's, as you're one of the shareholders, and our shares, we hadn't put money, weren't allowed. We had donated equipment made by us as our equity. So now they wanted all the shareholders, the bankers, to put in more money.
Right.
So we said we are not allowed to put more money. Government of India rules, I'm talking of the 1970s. They said, well, too bad then. Bad policies your government has, capital is not free to move, but it's going fat. Your reputation will go. That is, they were playing on our pride, that we were wanting to show that Indians can do it abroad also, help another country abroad in competition with the world's best. Nani Palkhiwala, who was a deputy chairman, great lawyer,
Right.
understood finance and law, he made a case, and it was classic, that we're not going to break any rules, but we get what you're saying, that what the company needs now, really needs now, we will provide. And in our view, what the company really needs now is good management. And it's too sad maybe that the Bhumiputras that you haven't yet learnt it. So if you can relax the rule and allow an Indian CEO, and we don't want too many people, just one Indian CEO, because for the technical part, the technical arrangement which we had, there was a service manager, a factory manager, and a quality manager. I mean, those 3-4 people were there, but that's not really a company in competition. Allow us to have the CEO to be a non-Bhumiputra. Now, the government was actually very, very embarrassed about his Bhumiputra policy that everyone was joking in the foreigners saying, they think. So they did change their law and constitution to, in our case, in Tata's case with that venture, that for 3 years they will allow an Indian CEO. And Sumant Moolgaokar turns to me in India. I'm building telco in Pune and we are doing well, like I said, building and exporting our trucks. He says, just like that, out of the blue one day, when I'm talking to him along with other executives about I need a approval for a new wage agreement, which is a very innovative wage agreement in Pune. But meanwhile, this crisis had come. The foreign bankers were asking for an answer within a week. Nani Palkiwala along with the telco team. So he said, okay, we are getting permission to send one person. It's a marketing problem. So our sales director, the next chap who's going to be said, you should go, be a great experience for you. No, no, sir, the market in India is so big, we need, because I mean, that's a small country. Then he said to the finance guy, it's a finance problem. Either you go yourself and you've been making the case or send the next guy. No, 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 but more important here. So like that, everyone's saying no, and Sumant Moolgaokar is like sitting like this, smiling away at all the rest of it. And he turns and says, gentlemen, it's very clear. None of you have the guts to do it. Thank you very much. He told me, just stay, because I had come to say, when this meeting is over, can I show you my agreement?
Okay.
He sent them all away, and he said, Maira, you are going to Malaysia. I said, me? Where is Malaysia? No, no, don't worry. Apparently it's a good place. And I know you will do the best. None of these people know how to actually market anything in competition. They are so used to being a large enterprise where banks run after them and stuff. They just don't know that. You are, my friend, going to learn that. And I'm 30 years old or something. Learn that at 31. And I said, sir, I came for this agreement. So he said, fine, explain the agreement to me. And that agreement is very linked to what we're going to talk about quality. But I'll come to that story later because it's linked to the quality story. We linked it to this little book also that Moolgaokar had given me. So I went off to Malaysia and we succeeded. And how did we succeed? We were once again there. We weren't allowed to get any more foreign equipment or anything because, again, same story that we don't have it. You have to buy your wits of how you market, how you manage your service, how you motivate your staff. That's the source of competitive advantage. Very much like what Japanese had to do after the war. Yeah, they were constrained, no resources. The only assets they had was their people.
Right.
So here in Malaysia also said, well, who are the people? I'm an Indian. There were the 3 or 4 in some positions. Our sales manager had to be a local guy, so he knew the market. He was a Chinese guy. Our finance guy, again, was a local guy, happened to be an Indian, well, way back Indian origin, but a local Malaysian. And the venture is collapsing. All of their reputations are going down. The poor sales manager, who was a great success with Daimler-Benz, it opted to start with a new one because he thought it was a challenge. Now he was being blamed. You don't know a damn thing about marketing. You thought you're a big chap. Everyone had to save their reputation.
Right.
So our thing was that India has been, my 3 colleagues from India and myself, everyone thinks that Indians don't know anything. They get postings abroad so they can earn foreign currency, which, yeah, we used to earn then when India got nothing. इसीलिए आते हैं छुट्टी मनाने के लिए पैसा वापस लेके जाने के लिए आते हैं. This was our reputation as India. That's one. The other 2 had their personal reputations also. So I just made this clear. I started by saying, I've come here to do something which people believe India can't do. And we bloody well are going to show them that we can. So I was given a salary of the CEO. The previous CEO, Bhumiputra, had his same salary. He had a big Mercedes car. I came to the first board meeting. Yes, salary is confirmed, the car is there, we just have it, replace it with a better model and all the rest of it. And third thing, on that, we are appointing now a new deputy chairman, again a Bhumiputra retired general, and because we need more supervision. And proposal is to get the company to become a corporate member of the golf club, the Royal Selangor Golf Club.
Okay.
The advantage of it is that there'll be 2 persons who are allowed to play golf. For free. One will be this general and one will be me.
Okay.
So, it's a world privilege, that Royal Selangor Golf Club, and I never played golf anyway. So I said, but I don't want to play golf. Then I got a lecture. Unless you play golf, you can't make deals. All the big deals are made. And so I gently said, I'm not sure that the people who buy our trucks and buses ever play golf, because I knew that they are Chinese businessmen very hard-working guys.
Yeah.
They work all day and drink brandy at night, and there's zero time to play golf. So I'll consider it, but right now this resolution is not being passed. I then get out to go to the room. The chief executive of the holding company, the Sultan's holding company, comes to me and said, Myra, you know how you are here. You are here at the because this person has arranged a special visa for you to be able to come. You know that, and if you don't, please him, your visa can be cancelled in 24 hours' notice. He said this. I picked up my briefcase, which is next to me, and started to walk out. He said, Where are you going? I said, I'm going home. Why? I said, Well, I'm not here to be chucked out when you feel like. I thought you wanted me here. I'm going to stay till I'm wanted here and till my company says come back. I don't work for you. I work for my company. He said, You're quite a guy. He said, You're quite a guy. I said, Yeah, you're going to see this. And so it happened. We never joined that golf club. And when all the bills came from the Tumku for his parties at night, which he would give to all his other joint ventures, not a single one was passed by me. And I would be invited, of course, as a very proudly as one of his guests, given the champagne. He'd show off. Tata is our Indian partner, my company, and so on. So, the pride in yourself, the confidence that I don't know how to do it, but I'll find an innovative way to do it. And this is what that team, we did remarkable things in terms of marketing strategy, which have then been written about in the industry as, the most innovative marketing strategies, service strategies. Nothing had to be done about producing a truck. Everyone knows how to do that.
So, thanks for sharing that. So, going forward from there, where you think
We come, therefore, you said a vision for telco. Moolgaokar's thing was he called it, the title of my book, The Learning Factory. He used to say to us gentlemen, because we had to design a truck and build machines to build a truck, all of us were always told, gentlemen, you're not building a truck, you're building an industry. Yes, we're building an industry, which means that we also will have to put in a factory to make machine tools, special purpose machine tools, which truck manufacturers, car manufacturers don't have to do, because India didn't have those facilities. We'll also have to put in a factory to produce precision dies and tools, which again, no original manufacturer does. I mean, you buy it from specialist people. But since it wasn't available in India, we will have to learn to do those things also and do them. We are going to be a learning factory. We are building an industry, and to build an industry, we're going to be a learning factory. And he said, Who learns? Do you think the machines learn? You are learning, Myra. That's what you were brought here for. Keep learning. And I said, You made me a boss at 30 of this. People who are 55 who built things in Jamshedpur and much senior to me and so on. And you're making me their boss. I mean, what can I tell them? He said, You have to tell them nothing. You have to learn from them. And keep this in mind. You will learn from everybody. Every day, I want you to go in the morning and walk for 2 hours along the shop floor. You will see maybe a gardener outside your office. Ask the gardener what the gardener is doing. Ask the gardener what the gardener is learning. You will walk inside the factory, you will see him work in front of a machine. Ask the worker who he is, where he's come from. Ask him whether he enjoys what he's doing. Ask him what he's learning. Understand his questions, because you will learn. So he taught me that.
Okay.
So every day after he'd come to the office late in Bombay. We had a hotline. I'd come 8 o'clock in the factory, do my 2 hours. By the time I came back, he'd be on the hotline, Chairman wants to speak to you. And his question would be, So what did you learn today?
Okay.
Wow. He wanted then if ever we were allowed to make cars, we would be there to make the cars. The government of India, as you know, licensing, truck manufacturers, car manufacturers, the car licenses were monopoly of Hindustan Motors, Birlas, and Premier Fiat.
Right.
And government, Sanjay Gandhi, he had this thing to build his little car. So he broke into the government and Sanjay Gandhi's project. So there were three companies that were licensed to produce cars: a government company with Suzuki and these two. But Rajiv Gandhi came in and he felt that we maybe need to broaden and let truck manufacturers make cars and car manufacturers make trucks. So then came our opportunity that Telco could also make a car.
Okay.
And that took me to Japan and to Honda and to quality and lots of things.